kind of finish up where we left off in the last video. Ergo, Black Madonna, bye-bye. What I'm going to show you scripture-wise is the deeper connections between the parables that Jesus is speaking in chapter 11 with Zechariah 4 and 5. I mean, just absolutely spot on. Spot on. And it'll just shortly be coming up here. You'll have to see that it's really all about it and the understanding. Now, I don't know, I mean, I'm going to show you some things here with this drawing too, okay? I'm going to show you some things, again, with this drawing here, all right, that are important, and many people know that it's important. What are on these papers here are not mere scribble. I'm going to show you a little bit what we looked at with this candle here and this little rocket thing. I'd like you to notice this tetrahedron, this thing orbiting it. Kind of talk about that. And this is the depiction of the planetary prints that I've drawn. And I'd like you to see this rocket, all right, that is heading exactly that direction where we see that candle, as we know that Jesus was describing the parable about them taking that to a secret place. We see the woman in Zach 5, the woman with the wickedness is being taken on the wings of a stork. She's that woman in that birthing moment, okay? It's that secret place. Remember, somewhere in Scripture it says, I think it's Jesus Christ's words, matter of fact, I know it is. It says that if they tell you that he is in the secret place, believe, or that I'm in the secret place, that he, meaning Jesus Christ, the Savior, was in a secret place. He said, believe them not. Believe them not. And we could probably go and look into those verses and then the things that surround it and see it's going to flow into what I'm showing you here through the Spirit of truth. Okay, something that you just, you know, if you've been around a while, you understand. And then if you do, if you're sincere, you understand why these people are fighting it. Okay, so we're going to see some amazing confirmations here. And I'm going to come back and talk about these drawings in this door that's opened at this giraffe. And then where the other door at the other end on the other side opens too. And notice the telltale sign of destruction that we also see being shown right here in that multi-layered way. I'm going to show you a couple of poems too that come out of this. One of my really old drawing books. It's going to be probably 2 poems that I've already read to you guys before. But the page is so wide, I'm going to just go ahead and read them. And but we'll get to that. But it's going to be important. Okay, I'm not just, this is kind of an attempt to get me, or to get you guys, anybody that's interested, to kind of see what I'm going through on this side of the camera, my very real personal experience with this, with what's been given to me, and then what I know is expected of me, and to also understand my drive, you know, to understand my level of faith. And for some of you people that might not be a part of this group, but yet are still on the offense, or on the fence, I should say, of some of the things that I teach, you just have to understand that I'm doing the best I can. All things can't be given at one time to make you see the entirety of the whole, because we don't live We don't live a life like that. We live a life that is divided upon moments, and then these moments are filled with even more moments. And quite frankly, it takes time from our perspective to put and assimilate all of this together. And as Isaiah said, from precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Okay? That's really what's happening here. And that's how it's even unfolded to me, even in my entirety of my 41 years. It really has. So I grow in my understanding as everybody else grows in their understanding. So in a way, I'm going to show you something with these drawings in the poetry here that is going to be so relative, and some of you have already heard it before. I even proposed one of these short poems as a type of riddle to you guys, whoever was listening, many of you that still listen now. I proposed it as a riddle, and nobody gave me any sort of feedback of what they thought that it meant. And this was over a year ago, probably a year and a half ago. You will see now that poem, and many of you will remember it, and you will see now the depth of its meaning, and you'll see that it was supported by everything that we've just spoken over the last several videos, biblically. Incredible. There's a poem that I did where I'm in a thunderstorm, and I'm speaking on the porch looking out over the thunderstorm. And, it starts out, too many times I see their faces staring at me from their dark places, from their dark places. Keep in mind, I wrote these over 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. As I said, I've been going through much that is similar to what you see. My personality polarity is like, I've been like this my entire life. And these drawings are just things that I would do in my free time. They were things that were in my mind. They were in things that I was inspired, thoughts that I had, but I necessarily didn't understand what they meant. I was just drawing. I was just drawing things that were coming to me. And the same thing with the poetry. And these poems are just as old. They're coming out the same drawing books where these drawings, were taken from. It's the same, binder here. It's the same book. Whether you understand all that or not, or need to believe or hear it, maybe it doesn't really matter. What you should understand is that it's really already all provable. It's provable because most of the things in these drawings that have shown up as amazing connections are things that other people told me. Like with that worm sticking out on the tree, some things with the writing on the side of the plane that I had just barely scratched the surface. I was like ass in assassin, like I was trying to write assassin for some reason on the side of this plane. And of course, I told you this is all related to the 9/11 event of bringing down the two towers. And we see the twisted feet here. And remember, that's that, just like Kevin Costner on that Shinar, on that Field of Dreams movie, really about the coded Shinar, build it and they will come. We see that his feet are all twisted at the bottom. And then we see in my other drawing that we see the planetary prince's hands are now twisting. And it's in a sense of this reversing, this mirroring of the polarity. Of course, using the knowledge of good and evil and switching them back between each other. As I told you, flipping the script. And it fulfills in every way that I've told you guys about it. And then we see where, this thing ends up in this secret place, in this orbit. The Earth, in a sense, has the circumscribed tetrahedral geometry. You should know it from my video series entitled Geometry, the Binding of Terrestrial Spirits. I speak about it in pretty good detail. And I describe that the Earth has the circumscribed tetrahedral geometry, in which you see a hexagonal shape form in the magnetic field above the poles. You can actually see that form above every planet in the known solar system. Now, look what we see orbiting around our tetrahedron. it just doesn't get any more intense. And then the stuff here about the 6 and the 7 on this tree of life, notice it's like the 7 is trying to pull the 6 in and the 6 is pushing it away. And then we have that curious 6 and 7 adds up to 13, which is their 13 love type thing. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you're going to see how intense and how really the powers that be, they really know how intense this is. I catch them putting my inspired information in coded movies, in commercials, in all kinds of things. They are, in a sense, feeding off this information and trying to subvert, mock, and twist it throughout their media form, Babylon Entertainment. And those of them who do it, they know who they are, and they're listening right now. I've caught Disney doing it. I've caught many of these major billion-dollar corporations of Babylon's commercial marketplace using all kinds of stuff. They are watching big time, and they should, and they absolutely should, because I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You know, Jesus says, come unto the lost sheep, right? Well, that's what we're doing. We're coming into the lost sheep. And, you know, I'm going to do my best to reveal to you what's been revealed to me, because it's really a warning that's coming to you. Let me go ahead real quick here and kind of gain your attention. All right, a little bit more. Okay, this is Luke 11. All right, now remember everything that we had shown before in the series Peculiar Brothers. We're going to finish that series. We're finishing it now. We're just adding more foundational support for what I'm going to bring to the table here with this parable about the eyes being single in its fullness. You see, as he's describing that if that eye be single is full of darkness, well, we see that single eye that is single and full of darkness as it's related to this ephah, the dry measure of grain, everything from Zechariah. It's everything he's talking about from Zechariah now. I can prove this even further, and it's the Spirit of truth that's going to prove it to you. It's the Spirit of truth, okay? I did not write the Bible, and I did not compile these things in this way, but I did draw these drawings, and they all do mathematically connect, fractally precise, and nobody can deny it. Nobody. The people that do deny it are just doing it to get everybody else that might chance upon these videos to turn away. Well, it doesn't matter. This is all going to work out as it's been foretold, and it is, and I'm pretty happy about it. So let's kind of prove to you here that the tone of the understanding of the sacred feminine, as I've gone into great detail over the last several months, explaining it, everything with the enigma of the 23, which is the 2/3 genetic material that the female offers to the offspring over the male. This is where we get the need for our females becoming sacred. Well, I'm going to tell you now that it is all of humanity that is sacred. All life is sacred. Not just females. Not just sacred feminine. Okay? I don't hear people talking sacred masculine, and I hope they don't. There's no need to, because all life is sacred. Females are sacred. Males are sacred. Animals are sacred. Plants, trees, air, water, all of creation is sacred, and it is sanctified by the Creator and designated for specific conditional causational uses for the hand of man. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So that's why God has given us dominion over this earth, and then entrusted us with the 2 great commands, in which allows this dominion to be worked out faithfully if we can stay the singular path. Now let's get to the point here. I'm talking to you about how the sacred feminine philosophy, all connected and wrapped up with this Ishtar, this AKA Eastar, Astar, all of this is going back into biblical roots. But then, of course, it's in our holidays or their holidays, their holy days. You know, Easter is Ishtar, it's Ashtar. And then, of course, we've got the bunnies for fertility. Excuse me. We know that that is one of Ishtar's symbols, of course, as a fertility goddess. Now, of course, we know that bunnies don't lay eggs, but curiously, we see these bunnies connected with eggs. And then, of course, we've got the cockatrice eggs that is recorded in the book of Isaiah. Now, of course, it's all connected here to this egg here, our little interesting little Easter egg figure that we've got here on the dinar, that sometimes it will show us its sine wave here, its watermark symbolism, but I've got to probably pull it further from the camera to get it to do it. Nonetheless, there's our little Easter egg, and there's our little owls for Ishtar. There's our little owl face, connected with Ishtar. It's something we've already all reviewed so much. Now, in coming up to talking about the parable of Luke as it connects to Zechariah, listen to what Jesus says. We're going to go from still going to be in chapter 11. Let's directly move to verse 27. And I want you to see that Jesus Christ is speaking in the exact same tone of the way that I have taught you that this condition of information is being played out in against the backdrop of the sacred feminine, as we see it being recorded in Zach 5 and Rev 12 in various manners, with this woman being lifted up. Let me go ahead and read something to you here. Verse 27, and it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice. Think about that song, I Can Lift You Up, and we're going to talk about it. It's done by capital cities, interesting enough, because it's capital cities that are going to get destroyed, and then they're going to be lifted up from the capital cities. I could lift you up. I could show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my luck, that lucky rabbit's foot, wishing on their lucky charms, but their wishes shall die like fishes with no water, because the Father in heaven maketh all that is, and yes, even the wicked are also his. So you see, they cannot win, even if they had the strength of 10. The 10 lost tribes of Israel. Listen further if you want to see how these poems, these poetries are speaking to them. The Spirit of Truth is giving me a message to bring. You could be my luck, even if the sky is falling down. Seems to be a pretty popular topic with commercial Babylon entertainment, media, psyops industry, does it not? I know we'll be safe and sound. Now think about channels like 777 AEJ and a host of others, Jonathan Kleck and all these others, that for some reason are not seeing these things within the media, and then are not associating this with their rapture propaganda. Now, I'm not trying to point fingers at anybody, but what I'm trying to get you to do is realistically begin to separate what sort of teaching these people are presenting that is not presenting the fullness of the truth to you. They are keeping things from you and wanting you to divert your attentions, obviously, from this type of information, which reveals the fullness of Jesus Christ, that separates him from the folly of Yahweh, separates him from this faulty dark prince, and that brings him into the light of truth, showing his parable as he is casted against the contrasting darkness of their truth in the Bible, where it can be found within the Old Testament. Think about this. And then their song is telling you that they're going to go to some place safe and sound. Now that's a refuge. Listen to what it says here. I could fill your cup. I could fill your cup. What did we see in Zach 5 with the ephah? What did I've been calling this about the second cup for so long? We know this thing about the bowls on the top of the head. It's like the cup being filled. I could fill your cup. You know shall die like fishes with no water. Continually, over and over and over again, I have showed you that this stealing of the water from the dominion of the earth, which is designated for the children of earth, and you are going to dry and wither up. Zion, dry place, give unto her double, double, double according to her works. I could fill your cup. Are you kidding me? You know my river won't evaporate. This world we still appreciate. Well, they want to come back, as I told you. It says, we're safe and sound. Hold your ground. Hold your ground, right? Just keep holding out. Just keep holding out. They've prepared. They've established this moon base for you in Shinar. I could show you love in a tidal wave of mystery. We're talking about mystery religions. We're talking about a tidal wave that they're going to bring that's associated with the faked millstone off the coast of New York City. It says, you'll still be standing next to me. And we know where they're going. You could be my luck. Even if we were 6 feet underground, I know we'll be safe and sound. Interesting, because a portion of them go underneath the ground. As we know, their kingdom is going to be divided. And then Jesus Christ is going to tell them about this parable. How can Satan's kingdom be divided and expected to stand? It's going to fall. It doesn't stop. You could be my luck. Even a hurricane of frowns, I know will be safe and sound. And a hurricane of frowns, interesting, because you'll have to listen to one of my poems that we're going to get to. Just please listen to this stuff. Just please, guys, hear me out. Okay? Hear me out. The Dreamweaver thing, I mean, I've just closed my eyes again, climbed aboard the Dreamweaver train. Driver, take me away. My worries of today, cremation of care. And leave tomorrow behind. Oh, Dreamweaver, I believe you can get me through the night. Oh, Dreamweaver, I believe we can reach the morning light. Fly me high through the starry skies. They're going to the moon, maybe to an astral plane. That's the field of Charon, as we know it's established within the understanding, the philosophical, metallurgical, metaphysical understanding of the monatomic gold. It says, cross the highways of fantasy. Help me to forget today's pain. And this is the pain that they themselves are running from, of course, what they're associated with causing through this deception and this millstone. Though the dawn may be coming soon, there still may be some time. Fly me away to the bright side of the moon and meet me on the other side. I mean, come on. Come on. We've gone from the 70s rock and roll to the modern coded psyops, Babylon media music industry, the intercontainment industry, and they are just pumping it right before your face. But I tell you, you wait to some of the things that the Spirit of Truth has shown me, and you're going to see that they have met two worthy foes, two worthy adversaries, and that would be me and the Spirit of Truth. If I know that I'm not going to falter, what I'm hoping to begin to see is more courageous people. I'm hoping to begin to see people within the firm belief of the truth of Jesus Christ, that brotherhood and that goodness, that truth of family for all, that equality, that integrity, that morality, that spiritual bond that goes beyond color, national, religious, traditional obligations. That's what Jesus taught. Jesus is not about temples. As he said, the temple is the body. Anywhere there are two more that meet in my name, I'm there. I'm there. He's there amongst you, So you have to realize that everything they're trying to spin upon Jesus Christ right now in YouTube and against Christianity is an absolute total farce. It's a huge psyops. They are systematically putting up channels that are doing nothing but mocking and slandering and laughing and accusing Christianity. I got news for you. The believers of Christianity have nothing to do with these temples, have nothing to do with these churches, have nothing to do with these wars. It is the background ritualistic mystery societies that are hiding behind these fronts that associate these temples to gain monetary gain, power, and control over the masses. But the masses themselves that have that firm belief, that true intent of heart, of which the Father himself says that is what he is looking to, not to your letter affiliation, your national affiliation, your race affiliation, your flag that you fly, or your favorite color. He's no respecter of persons. He's no respecter of rank and file. He's no respecter of lodge or how many degrees you have. He is a respecter of the integrity, of the truth, of the morality, of the upholding of the message of Jesus Christ. Do unto others as you would have done unto you, and love the Father with all your might. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you can walk that narrow path, then you show that you can receive. And you can receive these spontaneous fruits of spirit power and spirit sight and spirit faith, joy and glory, strength. All the armor of God will come unto you, in which you can walk this road without fear. Even though many go against you in the grain, you yourself know that you're okay. And you can join me, and you can join me. So let's get back to this real quick here. And it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked. Blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked. Now we know Catholicism reveres the Virgin Mary, which is really just a psyops over control of this Ishtar figure, as we know now as the Black Widow. Okay, it's the same thing. Now I want you to see what Jesus says here and understand the entirety of the message of the Spirit of Truth that I've been showing you guys. I want you to see that it's coming directly from Jesus. But he said, Yea, rather blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it. Now, it's going to be important, because this parable here that he speaks about with this particular 7 is going to be fulfilled in Zechariah. Exactly where we already looked. And I want you to realize just a few short passages down is verse 33, where he starts talking about that secret candle in a secret place hidden under a bushel that fulfills everything that I showed you in Zechariah, which is going to fulfill everything that I've been telling you the Spirit of Truth is showing me. As you can see, so many people fought against me in the beginning, like Mick Fox Bat, Seek and Fab Fisher, all these people. I could just name after name after name after name after name of these people that try to tell me that I don't know the Bible, that I don't know Jesus, when in fact, in reality, it is these people themselves. And it's just a simple fact that these people are not following the Spirit of Truth, that they are looking to another. And you have to realize the majority of these people are set up to do this to the unsuspecting. Okay? So Jesus is telling you, and he is in a sense admonishing this woman, that no, that it's not the blessed womb that bared him and the blessed teats that he suckled from. They that are blessed are simply anyone, not the sacred feminine, anyone is blessed that can hear the word of God and keep it. Simple truths. So many people want to complicate. Simple truths, so many people want to complicate. Let's just back up here. We know that this is Jesus talking about them up in their refuge, okay? When a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace. We know that Zion, when a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace. That's them on Shinar. They're strong, that strong arm of Ephraim. But when a stronger than he shall come upon him and overcome him, and taketh from him all his armor wherein he trusted, and divideth his spoils. We know that's Jesus Christ describing the Dans. As I said, they turn on them. Okay, remember, they're ravenous. They're seeking to devour. And I'm going to tell you, they are not to be trusted in the light that these individuals have thought. Now remember, I told you the spirit descendancy, as we saw depicted in the book of Daniel through Nebuchadnezzar, as he is, in a sense, resurrected to the other side, and his eyes become open and his understanding returns unto him. We see that's the spiritual ones that have been sealed, and we see that they repent. But this still living existence of the Nephilim that are known as the Dans, associated with the Nordics, that are also known as the locusts, they're not. They have still grown in the wicked direction. They've still embraced the material, faulty truth that have been polluted in a spiritual understanding. It's been polluted in its spiritual understanding. He says, he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth. Now, just very fast, we know that ties up to what Jesus Christ is talking about in John 10. John 10, very interesting. And then he goes on and he's telling you all about the army of Joel 2. He's talking to him. He's talking to you in perspective of him being the good shepherd. And then he describes Zechariah 11:17 about the bad shepherds that plan on fleeing. They plan on leaving. All right? And he goes up here, verse 5, if you want to see it. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, from they know not the voice of strangers. Well, that is in perspective of us fleeing from their word and knowing the truth, talking about the good sheep. And then he describes that this shepherd, the false shepherd, is going to abandon the flock. It says in verse 13, of course, we know the 13th tribe of Israel, the 13th tribe of Israel is Ephraim. The hireling fleeth, because he is a hireling, and careth not for the sheep. Let's talk about, as I said, Zechariah 11:17. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. Interesting, this has all been said at the 33-minute mark. So he's telling you about who scattereth the sheep. Okay, he's telling you. Now, the ultimate level of who the wolves are that are truly going to do it are these false prophets, known as the Dans, that will arrive as the locusts, spewing their doctrine of fire, smoke, and brimstone. In other words, the doctrine of the Apollyon. So, I'm telling you guys, so let's get to the incredible insight that the Spirit of Truth can give us to the discernment of correctly dividing the word and understanding. We can simply follow Jesus unto all truth, and he will lead us. Jesus says here, Luke 11, verse 24, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Zion, dry place. Now there's a spiritual Zion. The spiritual Zion is the inner place. It's the inner temple of man. Unfortunately, that so many people have allowed a serpent to crawl into their temple. Okay? And then we know that their material Zion is the dry place on the dark side of the moon. Of course, we know that that's the faulty Zion. That refuge is not a great place. They're not going to find the rest that they think they are. And then it goes on to describe, he saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out. Now remember, they seek to return and come back down to the earth. And when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished. Wow, unreal. Then goeth he and taketh it to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there, and the last state of the man is worse than the first. Now, it's incredible because he says, return unto my house whence I came out. You have to see this in so many multi-layers. It's unreal. It's unreal because it just is just so deep. The house that they came out, meaning the earth. The house that they came out, meaning the house of the original covenant. Okay, and the spirit root of this, the depth of that always goes back to the spirit. It exceeds the material translation, but the material translation always has a material manifestation. So you see a material reflection of the parable of truth that they seek to still return. Okay, but they have wandered to a dry place seeking rest. Now, I'm not kidding around here. I'm not playing around. So when he talks about taking unto them these 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, unreal. Because we have to realize when we talk about the kundalini, these rising kundalini serpents up the spine, which causes the illumination, we got to realize it's rising up these 7 chakras, which are associated with the 7 stars of the Pleiades, which is what this really begins to come into perspective of, which is the sweet influences of the Pleiades. But we know that a sweet influence is more or less a temptation, and usually, like candy, it's going to rot your teeth. Okay, it's not what goes in a man's mouth that defiles him. It's what goeth out. We see that it's not the rotten fruits of truth that are rotten these people's teeth. It's the rotten fruits of truth that they're spewing back out. Even though they take them in, it's what they spew back out. Okay, and we will see that come in the reflection of the working of the wood. We'll see the correct way to bring in this rough material, this rough matter along the narrow path and refine it. And then once it's brought back out, that it is clear and that it is crisp, that it is in plain speech. You'll just have to wait for it. So let's go back to what we have in Zechariah. Now, guys, I'm asking a lot of you guys here. I'm asking so much of you guys because I'm sharing incredible personal experiences with you that I'm supposed to, okay? And I could share much more with you, to tell you the truth. And I'm not going to do it when there's a bunch of ravening wolves yipping and yiping every day, okay? Because they're obviously here for a reason, and more reasons than not, they want to hear this information too. So if everybody could just begin to relax a little bit, then I'll go further, and I'll go into things, like I said, about science and mathematics that would just flip your lids. But it's in a spiritually relative way, and you can see how it will connect to everything. Maybe I'll get around to showing y'all guys that fractal model, because I want to, and I need to. Whether I show it to you guys now or some others later, it just waits on you, I guess. So remember what I showed you with the golden candlesticks. That's chapter 4. Now everything that we saw about 5, as it goes talking about everything, okay? We come back on up to the Ephah and the woman, the select, elect, privileged woman. We know the same thing, that it's described in Genesis 6. They chose up from the kingdoms of men all of the women of which they thought were fair. The special select, the special elect. Once again, it's the same thing. It doesn't stop from micro to macro. Okay, so then we saw Jesus consistently bring about the very same understanding and that admonishment about what is truly sacred. It's just simply keeping the word of God. Female, womb, teats or not. Okay, not this sacred feminine thing, which they always try to override. Jesus Christ says that if you feel that I'm just the product of the loins of David, why does David call me Lord? You need to understand some things, because Jesus can absolutely show them to you if you can just come out the letter long enough to perceive. I think there's going to be a time delay. I'll try to remember. Look at this verse here, chapter 4, Zechariah 10. 10 lost tribes, the 10 lost houses. All right. So everything that I said about the God of their earth, the whole thing, how it relates, how I can show you that Jesus Christ can show you this and is showing you this and is the truth of these parables in the Bible that none can deny. Not against the light of this information as we present it. As long as they don't show you this information, they'll be able to deny it. But as long as this information is here being shown, in light of it, their shadow will always be cast away. It'll always be shown as the obstruction of light of what they really are, and not the light itself. All right? So for who hath despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of the Lord. We know which Lord they are. They're the Lord of the earth, which run to and fro throughout the whole earth. As we see it described here, the Lord of the earth. And if you know in Revelation 11, of which this is also talking about in an incredible way, it describes the God of the earth and then the God of heaven, right? We've got 2 gods that are being represented here, okay? We've got an imposter amongst us. We've got fungus among us. We've got a cancerous black growth of misinterpretation, ergotten interpretation of truth that I'm telling you is about to make a grave mistake. So as we see the same language, then comes the flying roll, everything that they're going to do with their false judgment, and then of course they're about to flee, and then they're about to go here to Shinar. Well, look at the language as he describes the association of Zerubbabel, the descendants of Babel. We know that's ecclesiastical Babylon. We know that that is Ishtar. We know that this Ishtar is a Babylonian goddess, and that at least that depiction. And then we see that these Zerubbabels are with those 7. These are the eyes at which run to and fro throughout the whole earth. We know that Satan goes to and fro throughout the whole earth, fulfilling the understanding of who the synagogue of Satan really is. These eyes of the 7, as I said, are associated with the illumination. They're associated with the 7 chakras, of which the Kundalini rising serpent, of course, has ascended upon the spine of certain of these illuminated ones. Plain and simple. And then Jesus Christ, praise God, of which where all of this is coming from, is going to tell you the same thing. He's going to tell you the same thing. And he's going to warn them. And he's going to warn them. He is going to warn them. So there is many more ways that I can speak about this. I can speak about the house as the temple with the body. I can speak about the house as the earth. I can speak about the house as the original covenant with God, which you should now see is now cleaned and garnished and restored, in which these will not be able to enter within the perspective of these unclean spirits. They must rid themselves with this sweet influence that comes from this mock-up psyops of the 7 stars of the Pleiades, which you should always keep in mind is right here connected to 69, the 7 stars of the Pleiades, right there associated with Cancer. Everything I told you concerning the Ergot and this woman supposedly with some sacred womb or teats, of which Jesus Christ is saying, nah, my friend, yea, rather blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it. Incredible. And I say all this on verse 44. Well, let's look what Jesus is saying for those that are associated with the 44. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are as graves which appear not, and the men that walk over them are not aware of them. You guys are walking graves. Everything with this 44 associated with the 44% of the monatomic gold that vanishes and disappears to the land of Shinar. Now, you'd have to research monatomic gold to understand that, and I advise you to do it. The 44, as we know, is associated with the 44 kings of Israel. Of course, we see that Israel is truly Ephraim. We find that in Genesis chapter 48, 49, throughout the Old Testament. 9 times out of 10, when you see Israel, the majority of those times, it will be Ephraim. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you as graves, which appear not, which people see you, but you're not necessarily appearing as graves, but nevertheless you are. You are, and as we know, that this place in which they go, as we saw in Hosea, is looking like their grave. It's looking like their grave. I mean, how much more do you want? I mean, the people that truly do watch me, like true agent, spy on, New World Order, Big Brother style. I mean, and it's definitely going on big time. They know that I am who I say I am. That I am a regular person that is really, really unique, even abnormal. I'm not. I don't. They know it. They know that I'm a regular person, but they also know, that they can't put their finger on it. They won't accept what I really am, okay, as a seer, bringing the truth of Jesus Christ as best as I'm able, okay? Jesus still allows me and my free will to deliver it to you within my own understanding, all guided by what he's already given me to show me that this path is the correct direction. And of course, we see it being supported now by the biblical information, and of course, everything with their esoteric breakdown of the symbols that can now be timed against every bit of my poetry and drawings perfectly. And then, of course, there's songs that are coming on the popular radio, media, entertainment networks. I'm telling you guys, wake up, man. Wake up. It's you that are in this darkness. It's you that are asleep, okay? Think about it. So there it is, the same thing that Jesus is talking about in the perspective as I have already revealed it over the last year. And I'm supported once again, all right? And what in the world is really going on? Okay? You guys really have to bring this thing out of your stony heart here. Don't harden your heart. Something my mom used to tell me all the time. Don't harden your heart, honey. Don't harden your heart. Because as a child, I was real frustrated with the world. I knew early that the world was not giving me what my potential should be getting from it. I had a real problem with the scholastic system, which is very rigid and not flexible, as the word would imply. But yet, some of you know my history. I was in all gifted accelerated classes. I went to special gifted after school programs. Some of you might remember I was accepted to Johns Hopkins when I was 15 or 16 for some sort of special program. But yet, my family just didn't have the means to really do that at that time. So, I've already been pre-prepared for what I was going to do. I've been given the gifts of understanding, of comprehension, retention, and then, of course, I was quickened. I was visited. I've been visited all my life. I'm still visited practically every night, but I'm not visited by the same things. Only a few times have I been visited in my waking knowledge, my knowing knowledge, as waking and just walking around, and something has incredibly happened. And then, of course, there's been another time when I was asleep and woken out of my sleep, and something was given to me. And you should know that I'm a carpenter, and you should also understand what Zechariah describes about the carpenters. And he describes about these particular four carpenters, you know. And I told you before here that I'm one of these four carpenters. I'm one of these four carpenters. Dreams Within Dreams made a snide comment about what I'm going to show you guys with woodworking, about how the parable of truth is in it, and that when I show it to you, as I've already shown you a little bit of it before, that you'll see it and you'll understand. I remember I've been revealing who these horns are, association with the unicorns. We know that the horns are depicted in Deuteronomy chapter 33 with Ephraim and Manasseh, like the horns of unicorns, okay? We know that's all associated with the rising of the Kundalini serpent. Of course, that rod that pierces the top of the head that we can see being depicted on the White House, the DC White House, the very same rod, the very same horn, okay? So nonetheless, whether you guys understand what my mission is and who I am and how I do all this, I understand very well. And for anybody that just needs to know, I just feel obligated sometimes to tell you guys, and I do tell you, and I don't care what people think and all that stuff. So nonetheless, you've got to realize here. And then if you've seen the other videos that I've done, you would, even all the way back to the 2 Witnesses of Revelation 11, and the video series I did, Ye Shall Know Them by Their Fruits. Oh my gosh, now that video series is so incredibly relative. If you didn't view one of my favorites, video 11 from that, and what I talk about with this water, it's just unreal. And I guess that will bring us, you should have pretty firm confirmation here. Symbolically, the ephah, the measuring cup, with the song, I could fill your cup. Look at this temptation, talking about their water won't evaporate. I mean, are they even feeding off the stuff that I've been posting here for the last few years, like trying to reassure their initiates? I mean, it almost sounds like it, right? I even caught somebody, talking to somebody on another channel about me. They weren't saying my name. They were talking about me. And they were very, very concerned about me. They're like, talking about what's the deal when someone knows everything about you, everything about your family, and they're describing and telling you that something bad is going to really happen to you? And then the person eventually goes on to say, well, they're a familiar spirit, and they were trying to describe that person that was seeing everything about them and that was describing something bad that was going to happen to them as a demon. And of course, that's how they've got to see me. The majority of them, they've got to believe that I've got some sort of demon. It's the very same thing that they saw with Jesus Christ. It's the very same thing that they saw and thought with the disciples. It's the very same thing that they have thought throughout the entirety of history with anybody that brings this spiritual truth. They consider us to be demon possessed. And people that are possessed with demons do not preach brotherhood, and they do not preach against racism. They don't teach equality and fairness, integrity and morality and love of little children. They don't try to save peoples from murder at the expense of their own lives. Demons don't do that. They supposedly want people dead. I want people to live. I even want these people that want me dead to live. And the way to get them to live is through the harmony of the understanding of the truth of Jesus Christ, and to swallow your pride and drop your doctrines. And people that got doctrines are sick. People that need doctors are sick. You have to realize that cancer is a sickness. This black ephah, I'm here to show you guys. So, I'm going to go ahead and read some things. And, I showed you those songs. I'm like, golly. Golly, there's even so much more. I kind of want you to just, I want you to, I guess, focus on this part here again. We'll talk about this lizard up here. This used to be a pet of mine. Okay, as I said, when I drew in all this stuff, I don't know what I'm drawing. I'm just drawing, you know? I'm taking inspiration, all right? I just am drawing, okay? And as I told you, I have always known things. I have felt and seen things and have been always easily to discern what the truth was scripturally, just basically from the moment I ever touched the Bible. And even the Sumerian tablets I have studied when I was in my early teen years, you know, when I was like 12 and 13 years old. And I got to give thanks to my dad, my earth dad, for that type of, you know, inspiration and showing me things, you know, about histories, you know. Now, my dad doesn't see this the way that I see it, okay? You know, but it doesn't matter. I needed to be exposed at an early time to all of this so that I could have the fruition of the manifestation of the truth revealed to me with this understanding. So this lizard at the top here, associated with this Cancer guy in a moon suit, as I told you, the camel, they're bringing the water to the moon. The evergreen is the symbol for Ishtar. There is their supposed exit. They're fleeing. They're going to be lifted up. But we see there's a destruction. This door opens up to this new land. As we see here, we got the man with the moon suit who's about to shoot the rocket. Okay? Okay, everything that I've shown you. Now, above here, this lizard, it just so happens to be known as a Chinese green water dragon. Water dragon. Now, Leviathan is a water dragon. Why they call this lizard a water dragon, aka Jesus lizard, is because it is a part of the sailfin family. It's known as an agamid, and these lizards run on their hind legs across water. Some of you know them as basilisks. Of course, that's what the cockatrice is also known in ancient times as a basilisks. Well, if you go to the pet store and you see a basilisks, it's also known as a Jesus lizard because it runs across water on its hind legs in the rainforest. Okay? Literally. And I used to own many of these lizards. I have kept reptiles for many years. When I was a child, I was known as the lizard hunter, the snake hunter. And I have fulfilled that in every way. I am the fulfillment of tracking down these snakes and these serpents and revealing them for who they are. I'm the lizard snake hunter through and through. Every part of my life is a reflection of the truth that I live now and that I show you, that's been shown to me. So here we have, curiously, now I can understand how all of this begins to fit in with where they're going with the moon, with their imposter, fake Jesus lizard. Incredible. Incredible, all the way down to the camel, which symbolizes nomads and wanderers. Now we're going to come on back to Cain being the wanderer, and then the camel represents the water storage. They're bringing the water to this location. Obviously, my friends, it's the moon. I'm not telling you no tales. I'm telling you the truth. The truth. Now, incredible. Think about them bringing the water. And I'll read you this poem that I did to the backdrop of that thunderstorm. And I want you to listen close. Too many times I see their faces watching me from their dark places. Now, the Spirit of Truth has given me this inspiration. I'm telling you, this is probably before I actually had even turned 20. Actually, before I turned 20. I took the vow of a Nazarite at, I took the vow of a Nazarite at 16 or 15. And I'm thinking 16. Okay? This is already how incredibly involved with the spiritual want of truth that I had even as a teenager. I had already taken the vow of Nazarite, fulfilled it for 7 years. For 7 years. And I fulfilled it in such a way that is unique to me and how I understand that interpretation of it. But it just goes to show you that this is where all of this is already coming. In my earliest of years, I'm already all about it. I'm true to it. I'm not new to it. I've been trying to I've been just trying to find a way to get through to you. Too many times I see their faces watching me from their dark places. I didn't know. I just felt the oppression of the system, the oppression of the New World Order, the oppression of the Big Brother. These are the inspirations that came out as I was kind of writing about watching me from their dark places, lurking while working to do I man harm. Now think about all the agents lurking, like while they're working to do me harm, all the while wishing on their lucky charms. All the while wishing on their lucky charms. Lucky charms. What's the most popular lucky charm that you know of? Well, that's rabbit foot. Rabbit symbolism, Easter, Ishtar, lucky charm. All the while wishing on their lucky charms. But their wishes will die like fishes with no water. Telling you. Think about that song, their water's not going to evaporate. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look here with the little serpent and the eye. Notice these fishes here. Right on tight with it. Notice there's a shark patrolling them. Incredible. Very same shark that we see here in this waterfall pouring down, emptying itself out. Fishes. What do we got? Shark. This shark is coming through clouds. What do we got right beside it? We've got a moon. We've got a night moon with clouds. Then here's this shark coming to get them fishes. Interesting enough, we've got a bottlenose dolphin, which you know saves people from sharks, associated right here with this Christian cross, overlapping right on top of it. Incredible. 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 Wow. And I'm, and think about this when I'm reciting this in the think about this when I'm reciting this in that poem and that storm is going and all that stuff is crashing around. I mean, it's just intense. Sends shivers down my sides, my spine. But their wishes will die like fishes with no water, because Jaja maketh all that is, and yes, even the wicked are also his. So you see, they cannot win, even if their demons had the strength of 10. The strength of what 10? The strength of what 10? The strength of those 10 lost tribes. Okay? So now, Jaja come, while the wicked, they all twiddle their thumbs. As for I hear the sound of mighty battle drums. Yes, Jaja come. I saw all this already. Already. And this is where I told some people that I originally wrote twiddle a long time ago, and then I changed it now as I recited it in some modern videos I did about it. I changed it to Twitter. And it's just like incredible, because that's what everybody's doing. And Twitter is supposed to be like the angriest place, wicked, angry, the angriest place out. I mean, it's just unreal. So I'm telling you guys that your wishes are going to die like fishes, okay, with no water. And I have shown this in every possible way you can imagine. Science and technology successfully manifest themselves in men. It seems these times will surely end. Soon the wind will start its blow, bringing hail, fire, and strange snows. With these things, confusion will increase. With all who have signed delusion's lease. Am I glad that they won't listen? Because their own damn faces they be kissing. Let them run to life's door only to find they have the keys no more. Now remember, this life door, they're looking for immortality. We know that they're running. They think that they can get to this place in Shinar where they'll be fed, they'll be watered, they'll be made to grow anew. No, no. They are running to a door that is going to be shut in their face, and they're going to find that they have the keys no more to open it. I'm telling you. Science and technology successfully manifest themselves in men. That's them with CERN, science and technology. Science and technology successfully manifest themselves in men. As I should say, as a man, that's inky. Soon the wind will start to blow. That's this millstone that's about to happen. And it says bringing hail. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. Bringing hail, fire, and strange snows. I'm telling you guys. Good gracious. Good gracious. And you have to realize this is where I am supported in every way that you could imagine. Okay? I'm not backing down. I have supreme faith. Supreme. There is not an ounce, a microscopic nanospeck of doubt in my mind, in my spirit, or my heart about what my mission is and about the knowing, the personal walk I have with Jesus Christ as the eternal Son of the living God. I mean, my faith is going to carry me through. And if you don't have faith, I'm telling you, that's what's really lifting you up. That's what can really lift you up, friends. All right, this is the riddle that I proposed to these people. Notice the reptilian down. We see that the double was up. As I told you, the two towers, the two polarities, we divided that upon the eyes. When you flip the script, what do you see now? The singular eye, the reptilian form. We know the inky is the Nehesh. There's the dark prince. There's the serpent. Okay? All the same thing. All the same thing that Babylon is showing you. The only thing is that these people are trying to pull the wool over your eyes. You know? And by pulling the wool over your eyes is making you look like something that you never were in the beginning. In other words, a wolf in sheep's clothing. And it's turning so many people into ravening wolves. All right, here's the riddle in poetry that I proposed to these people. It's very short. Listen close. The morning bird sings, and on the other side, the diminishing light and the darkness that it brings. With the hoot of an owl in the still of the night, all the animals wonder if it's all right. Soon the sky will reveal what the night came to steal, and once again, the day becomes real. Incredible. Everything that we know about from Zechariah, okay, about the birds, about this morning time, about this sacrifice, about Ishtar being the queen of the night hag, okay? Listen close. The morning bird sings. All right, we know that everything about lifting them up is associated with this bird. It's like this call of this bird is sending out this shout that they're about to be lifted up. And then it says, on the other side, the diminishing light and the darkness that it brings. Are you serious? I uploaded this over a year ago, and we didn't have any of this biblical support. I didn't even know any of this in the light that I do now. And it's the same thing. You see, we know. The morning bird sings, on the other side, the diminishing light and the darkness that it brings. On the other side, the dark side of the moon, the diminishing light, not the illumination of the candle, but this candle that's been put in secret, that is not a true light, but is really an obstruction of light, which is the diminishing of the light. And it says the darkness that it brings. It's bringing the darkness. As Zach and the EFAT, Rev 12, lifting up, it's the same thing. with the hoot of an owl in the still of the night. The hoot of the owl is Ishtar. All the animals wonder if it's all right. People just don't know anymore because we know that this owl is a night predator, a night stalker. But nonetheless, friends, soon the sky will reveal. We know that Jesus Christ comes from the sky. He comes back in all of his glory. Soon the sky will reveal what the night came to steal. We know that Ishtar is that night hag, that queen of heaven. And once again, the day becomes real. Unreal. Unreal. Think deep.